Hi, John Chapin with your latest sales tip. And this tip is a way in which you can virtually guarantee your sales success. So sales success can be broken down into an almost mathematical equation that works every time. There's a direct correlation between work and results when it comes to sales success. If you do the proper amount of work in 3 key areas, you pretty much guarantee sales success. If you don't do the proper amount of work in those 3 key areas, you will struggle and you'll probably fail completely. So let's start with the key to sales success, which is talking to enough of the right people the right way. So if you talk to enough of the right people are people who need your product now, they have the means to invest in it, and they have the ability to make a buying decision. And you talk to them the right way, meaning you say the right things at the right time, you'll make the sales you need to make. In order to do that, you have to put in the proper amount of work into the 3 key areas. Number 1 is the number of calls and contacts you make. 2 is developing sales skills. And 3 is gaining product and industry knowledge. Now, while all these are important, that first one, number of calls and contacts, is the most important. Now, if you've read any of my articles with any regularity or you've heard me speak, you've undoubtedly heard me say that 99.9% of the time someone fails in sales, it's a failure of activity. They didn't make enough calls to make enough contacts to get enough leads to make enough sales. The other 0.1% of the time when someone fails in sales, they get hit by a bus. Literally in 36 years, every time I've seen someone fail in sales, it's always been this first one, not making enough calls and contacts. Another saying of mine is, even a blind pig finds corn. If you are talking to enough people during the day, you'll eventually bump into someone who says, I need what you have, or I know someone who needs what you have. Bottom line on number 1 is you've got to make enough calls to make enough contacts, to get enough people, to ultimately make enough sales. Now, the second area, developing sales skills, is the second most important. The reason number of calls and contacts is more important than sales skills is because someone with the greatest sales skills in the world who doesn't make a ton of calls or they make very few calls will almost always make fewer sales than someone with average or bad sales skills calling on hundreds of people. When it comes to this second area, developing sales skills, you have to do enough work so you know exactly what you're going to say in each and every sales situation. You then commit that to memory and have that knowledge in there so that the responses flow smoothly and easily out of your mouth on sales calls. It's simple. Providing a salesperson can get through the gatekeeper to the decision maker, get the decision maker's attention, effectively qualify them, find wants, needs, desires, and problems, tailor those into an effective presentation proposal, answer any questions and overcome objections, they're going to make some sales. These sales skills, coupled with area number 1, the proper amount of calls and contacts, will lead to a good amount of sales. But finally, we have the third area, which is knowing your industry and your product or service. This third area is the third most important. The reason it's the third most important is because if you're not calling on enough people, and when you do, you don't know what to say, all the technical knowledge in the world isn't going to bail you out. So that said, if you're making enough calls, you have sales skills, and you add the strong technical skills, in other words, knowing your industry and your product well, and specifically why people should absolutely buy your product from your company and you, now you'll be unstoppable. If you're at least average in intelligence and people skills, and your sales success will be virtually guaranteed by working hard enough in these 3 areas mentioned. The biggest mistake I see salespeople make is that they avoid this work as much as possible. They look for shortcuts and ways to game the system. And while it's one thing to work smart, and you should do that, the goal of their shortcuts is to avoid the work necessary for success, while at the same time avoiding any discomfort that comes from rejection and putting themselves out there in the world. Avoiding the work I've outlined here leads to failure. Doing this work leads to success. It really is that simple. Sales is like jiu-jitsu, playing hockey, or anything else you want to get great at in life. You have to do the drills, the reps, put in the hours to get the results. You've got to do the necessary work to be successful. By the way, I cover all this extensively in my book, Sales Encyclopedia. You can find that at my website, CompleteSelling.com. Thanks for watching. For more information, go to CompleteSelling.com. If you like this video, do me a favor, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the next video.